Get away from me!
He kept asking me to hit him on the chest, so I hit him last night and he goes, "Jushadang," and then he plopped dead and I started crying.
Drink it. Smile.
Oh my god!
He made me cry last night! Alert, alert! Worst fiance! I cried! Remember, I was standing right in front of the freezer and I started crying and then I backed up into the freezer and then it opened and slammed me on the head. Okay, slammed is a little dramatic. But the freezer hit me on the back of the head and you were like, oh my god, you can't even cry in peace. Okay, it wasn't like full on crying, but I cried. There was some tears shed.
It was a dramatic scream, okay?
It was a dramatic scream cry. He started to tell me this great big story about a legend in China and I was like,
it's not a legend.
No, it's not a legend. What is it?
It's true Kung Fu.
Okay. So he's like telling me about this true, absolutely 100% true, non-alleged Kung Fu experience where a lot of Kung Fu masters would stand around this like fire.
Okay, you gotta tell them why I brought this up.
Okay, so my hands are really red. The inside of my hands, this part is completely fine. It's like the rest of my skin color. The inside of my hands are flaming hot Cheeto red. And I just don't know why. We looked it up, I asked the doctor. The doctor's like, yeah, no, like you don't have any health problems. You're totally fine. I Googled it and Google was like, you're dying. So I don't know, I'm kind of in the middle right now. And I was getting self-conscious about it. I saw so many comments that were like, wow, her hands are really red. And so I'm thinking to myself, what do I do? Should I start putting makeup on my hands? Like,
shut up.
They're so red. And he's like, no, it's a compliment. Because back in the day, these Kung Fu masters, they had this open pit of fire, right?
No, there's a Kung Fu called 朱砂掌. 掌 means palm. 朱砂 means red sand. So what they do is, this is a very high level Kung Fu. When you became a 朱砂掌 master, is if you use your hand to slap someone, right, on their chest, they're gonna walk away, they feel nothing. But when they go home, they take off their shirt, they see your handprint on their chest.
Through the clothes.
Through the clothes. Your energy has penetrated through their body. And they just see a red hand mark, and that's it. They live their life with that red hand mark. And then 10 years later, just one morning they wake up.
You mean one morning they don't wake up?
No, they wake up.
Okay.
And then they plot to death.
They plop.
Plop to death.
Plop to death.
The way they get there is really hard. It takes like years and years and years of practice. One of the method is they bring a pot and they throw a bunch of sand in there. And they cook the sand. They heat it up and the sand's really hot. Right? And they just smash their hand into the sand and they do this motion in and out of the sand.
He said, this motion, in and out.
And then your hand will turn bright red. And then after years of practice,
don't do this at home, okay?
this is professional stuff. And then after years of practice, you know, along with the chi, along with all of that, your hand's gonna turn bright red. And that's when you successfully have
what you have.
朱砂掌. It's not red today. No, see, today it's not that red. I think it's the lighting.
Cold.
Are you cold?
No, but they look red in person. Oh, you can tell from my wrist. Do you see the color difference?
That's so bad. Some videos is so bad.
Yeah, some videos are worse. I think it's because of the lighting. But this is what my palm looks like.
Give me
really red palms. Oh yeah, he kept asking me to hit him on the chest, so I hit him last night and he goes, "Jushadang," and then he plopped dead and I started crying because I was like, this is so mean. Anyway, get ready with me. I really liked the other get ready with me that I did about my anxiety, but today we're not doing it about my anxiety because here's what I realized. In my hours and hours upon hours of research, wow, I sound so fancy when I say that, I come across a lot of things that are just in my head, but there's no space for them. Like I can't talk about it in a podcast, I can't talk about it in a mukbang, and so I'm gonna talk about it with you right now because these are things that I can't stop thinking about and I need to have an open conversation about them. By the way, I'm going full on soap brow. I got a piece of soap. I spritzed it. I'm getting the soap on there. I look like this because it's freezing in here. So I'm gonna get the soap brows. I'm not really good at this. I just kind of like lift it up. Did you know to date, starting from 2006 to 2021, there have been 21 dismembered feet? 21 dismembered feet on the coast of Seattle, Washington, up until Canada, to British Columbia, Canada, right? So this is the United States, Washington State, all the way into Canada. It's called the Salish Sea. There have been 21 dismembered feet that just like washed ashore. And I have been thinking about this for like months now, and I finally did a deep dive on it, and I was like, okay, like I can't really talk about it in a mukbang because it's maybe not a crime. It's not even a mystery because I have the answer for you today, but it's strange, isn't it? So I think only one of them belonged to the same person. So out of 21, only 2 of them were the same DNA. That means 19 different people that only have 1 foot that washed ashore. Yeah. Okay, so here's where it all started. It started in 2006 when a 12-year-old girl, she was playing around in the little beach side. She's like walking down the shore and she sees this Nike shoe. She's like, oh my gosh, mom, there's just a random shoe, just one shoe on the seaside. Let me go look inside that shoe, because when you're 12, you want to look inside shoes. This is something you don't want to do as an adult. She looks inside. Oh my god, there's a sock, mom. She decides she's gonna open up the sock and look inside the sock. It's a fucking foot.
A decomposed foot.
Is that not crazy? You're like not really shocked by this?
I mean, you already told me this.
6 days later in Vancouver, Canada, they find another shoe. Decomposing foot. I mean, they were assuming that it's the same people because they were like the same brand of shoe. They were both size 12. So they reach out to Seattle, Washington, and they're like, hey, I think we got the other foot. But they're like, wait a minute, but it's not the other foot. They find out it's like 2 left feet. It's not the same foot. So now you have 2 different people. It's not just one person. And this is what started the Seafoot conspiracy. I mean, where are these feet coming from? Why are they washing on shore? Where is the other side of the foot? No. Better question. Where's the body? Now you have to remember that Seattle is a very, very sticky situation because we talked about this on our podcast that's called Dr. Starvation. She was operating in Seattle, actually very close to where the Salish Sea is, which is interesting. She had a little sanatorium. She would kill people. She was one of the weirdest female serial killers I've ever talked about. But Seattle is also the operating place of the Green River Killer. And he used to dump like close to like 70 bodies. That's what people suspect, but he only confessed to 49. He dumped close to 70 bodies in the Green River in Seattle, and bodies would just float on top of the Green River. So now people are thinking, is this another serial killer situation we've got going on? Like, is this another Green River Killer 2.0? What is happening in Seattle?
Some weird energy this morning, huh?
What? This has been in here for so long, I had nowhere to put it out. No one wants to listen to me talk about feet. You would think that I would have a massive audience, you know, wanting to listen about my foot theories. They couldn't necessarily say it was a serial killer that loved feet. Like, it's not a Jerry Bruto situation, which again, we talked about him on the podcast. Okay, he's a foot fetish killer. He would chop off women's feet, put them in his freezer so he could have them display these high heels that he likes, right? They're thinking, well, maybe it's not that because it's not severed. Like the ankle tendons to the foot weren't severed. It didn't look like someone put a knife and went like this. It didn't look like someone got a butcher knife and went chop chop. It just looked like it naturally separated from the body, which makes it even stranger. So they start investigating. Now Reddit comes up with a couple of theories. There actually was a plane crash in that area. Side note, I'm 25 years old, still don't know how to do 2 things. My eyebrows and my eyelashes. Still don't know how to do it, but I got all these new eyebrow products that I wanted to test out. So Charlotte Tilbury came out with a legendary brow thing. I'm gonna try it.
How'd you know it's legendary?
It says on the packaging.
What do you think? Nothing has changed. So then the first, theory that came up on Reddit was that, okay, these have to be plane crash victims because that makes sense. There was actually a plane crash filled with, it was a small plane, about 5 passengers. Like, one person was flying the plane and they had 4 passengers. It had crashed and it was near the place where the first 2 feet were found. So everyone's like, all right, this is it. This is the plane crash victims. Really sad, but at least now that we have some answers. They test the DNA. The DNA on one of the feet was female, so this doesn't make sense. This does not make sense at all because all of the passengers on that plane were male. So then another theory came out that there was a tsunami in Japan. So everyone was suspecting maybe it's a tsunami from Japan because if you really consider the time that the tsunami happened to when the feet washed ashore in North America, it would match with the currents. I mean, this all makes sense. So maybe these are Japanese feet that are washing ashore. But that turned out to be very, very false as well. So then the next theory was, okay, there's obviously a serial killer. There's nothing about it. Maybe he's not dismembering them, but he's like throwing them into the river or into the sea, and now they're washing ashore.
People's asking that many questions just because they found 2 feet?
No, they found 21 feet.
Oh, okay.
21 feet.
Okay.
19 of them were different feet. So they're like, this is
How long? During how long? of
from
time?
2006 to 2020-ish. So that's a lot of feet.
Yeah.
And it's all very current. It's not like all these feet are old. It's
Is
not
this
like
solved?
Yes, it is solved. So a bunch of people got some forensic scientists involved because they're like, hey, what's up with these feet? What's going on? We need some answers. So scientists get involved because now this is causing a huge stir. Is this coming from British Columbia? Is it coming from Seattle? They're both kind of blaming each other. And the scientist determines one thing. Let's talk about the science of feet. Never thought I'd say that sentence. When you are dropped in a body of water, right? Salt water, cadavers are likely to float. So if you had died prior to being dropped in the water, this is so important to true crime, then you're more likely to float over time. But if you drown in the water, then your lungs are filled with water, which means that you're not going to be as buoyant and you're going to sink to the bottom. A lot of these bodies with these foot still attached sunk to the bottom. That's their theory. Now, when they're at the bottom, they actually tested this with a pig that they killed. So they threw it into the ocean, okay? They had some cameras set up. Within 4 days, a swarm of shrimp, lobsters, and Dungeness crab completely destroyed the pig carcass. Yeah, how the tables have turned.
Dungeness crab?
Yeah, the turntables. They ate that pig carcass in like 2 days. They would eat a human carcass in like 4 days. So let's say this person is clothed. They would get through the clothes, they would eat the person. By the way, these shrimp and Dungeness crab, they start with the face and the butthole.
I don't know why.
Because
eating the booty is delicious!
Because that's, I think that's where the reaction happens first. Because that connects to your inside.
Oh, like all the smells and
Yeah.
stuff.
All the seasoning and flavor is coming out.
I said they be eating the booty over there. And so it only takes them a couple of days to eat through an entire human body. Now, the ankle has really soft muscle tissue. It's not like a strong bones. So they will actually eat through the ankle, and now your foot is detached. Now, here's the thing with newer shoes. So they have these air pockets in Nikes because they want to make like lighter shoes. So if you look at the soles of most tennis shoes, they're filled with air, right? Or they're filled with some sort of like liquid plus air, and it's got a lot of air molecules in there to help you run better. But that floats. It floats. So then it'll float. And then the Salish Sea has the perfect condition where everything goes inward versus going out to sea. So now you've created this perfect scientific environment where these feet will wash ashore.
So these are all murder
No.
victims.
These are all victims of something else. So they actually did DNA testing. I think they were able to verify 10 of the victims, and they were all reported missing. So they linked them to missing persons report, and most of them are considered accidents and or suicides.
They drowned themselves.
Yeah. So they were able to conclude that most of them is an accident or a suicide, but some of the families are concerned about this. There was actually one family who had a 79-year-old man go missing, and one of his foot had washed ashore, one of his feet. And they were confused because, I mean, he just like left the house one day without his medication. It didn't seem like suicide, maybe an accident, but they just don't have answers. You can't necessarily rule out homicide because you don't have the rest of the body. You don't know if someone pushed them in there. You don't know if someone forced them in there. You don't have any of that. But the police are just saying, guys, mystery solved. It's been ruled accidents, or they're just suicidal. That's all we know. Bye-bye. Have fun with your feet.
Is that it?
That's it. And
That's
feet
the
are
answer?
still washing ashore.
That's
weird,
what's been
no?
on your mind.
That's what's been on my mind. I can't stop thinking about that 12-year-old who found that foot. The first foot. Where is she now? What are her vibes now? I wouldn't know. I can't tell you. If I was 12, found a foot on shore.
I'm never looking at feet again.
Now that I've done my eyeshadow, I'm gonna go in with some eyeliner and stuff. Oh, maybe I should contour my face so that it's easier to look at for the rest of this video. I've been using this contour wand. So let me explain, because there's a lot more on my mind right now. I started doing this research because I wanted to know more about the Victorian era. Here's what's crazy. Did you know women were so hot back in the day that they would just combust? They would just spontaneously light on fire? In the Victorian era, it was common. About 3,000 women, it has been reported, probably more, that hasn't been reported or we can't find the records for, that just spontaneously burst into flames and died. But I have the answer for you if you're wondering. Are you wondering? You want to know?
Yes.
You're
ma'am.
so curious, aren't you? So there was a scientist who created celluloid, which is like the first moldable plastic ever. Well, I don't know if it's the first, don't quote me on it, but it was like one of the first widely used. And back in the day, men would actually sit there and write on their collars, like their thing right here. So this thing, it would be white because they're wearing these like fancy suits, right? And they would be doing math, like calculations, and they would actually do math on their sleeve. But then it like caused this huge class divide because if you were poor, you couldn't do math correctly because you didn't want to write on your collar because you don't have another collar. Like this is all you have, and now you can't be walking around with all these pencil markings, and it's so hard to get the ink out of there. I mean, it's just really intense. So they started making them out of plastic. So you could wear these like plastic, whatever, wrist collars and then go home and wipe them and they would be good as new tomorrow. Now they started with that and they were like, wait a minute, we can totally sell this to women. And they started making these ad agencies who were like, hey, if you're a woman, if you don't wear these big old dresses that are like 3 feet wide, you're not a woman and you're ugly and your husband's gonna cheat on you and leave you. No, literally, that's how advertising worked back in the day and still today, just not as straightforward. So they were selling these big old dresses to these women and they would wear them. Now what they weren't told is that celluloid is highly flammable. Not only are they wearing this like cage, so underneath all of their dresses, they're wearing this cage of plastic, and then on top of it, they're like putting lace and linen and all these highly flammable fabrics, and they would be working around in these little tight quarters. If they were even near a candlelight, their dress would just burst into flames, and because of how highly flammable it was, you couldn't put it out. So there was a situation in Boston where a woman, she invited a bunch of her friends over for a little tea party, like a little dinner party, okay? And she's cooking. Her dress catches on flames. Now the other members that were there, the guests, they are wearing the same dresses, so they can't help her, otherwise they will catch on flames. So they watched her flail around and get burnt to death at a dinner party. Isn't that not crazy? I thought it was the craziest thing. Your reaction is really upsetting right now. Burnt to death!
It's crazy, honey. It's crazy.
Burnt to death!
So thousands of people died.
Yeah, because of these dresses. There was a woman who was just walking down the street and a cigar just rolled underneath this highly flammable dress and she just burst into flames and died in the middle of like this public street and nobody helped. That's what was happening. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I mean, I think this is the craziest thing. Obviously, he doesn't think so.
Whatever.
So the Victorian era, they didn't really wear a lot of makeup, but the next era, the Edwardian era, they wore a ton of makeup, and that is when makeup started getting big, but they didn't have any regulations on makeup. Is that not crazy? This is the stuff that has been on my mind. So they cared a lot about makeup. They started coming out with these face creams, and these face creams were just straight up bleach creams, because they said that your skin has to be pale. That's another topic for another conversation, okay? So they would put on straight bleach onto their skin. And then there was this huge company that started selling arsenic wafers. You know what arsenic is? Rat poison. Do you know how many people have killed people with rat poison? A ton of people. So they would just create these little wafers filled with rat poison, and women would straight up eat them, knowingly eat them, because they said that when you have arsenic poisoning, your skin gets really pale, like ghost-like. So they would just eat it to like the brink of death. They'd be like, ooh, on the edge of death, but I'm pale. The makeup is dope. The makeup is dope. What do you think?
I like it.
It's the same every day.
So I'm gonna go do my hair and put on a new outfit, and you're gonna get one of those cool TikTok transformations in 3, 2, 1. What is it? I wanna end me. And then they do like the head flip. I wanna end me. Yeah, and then they like pull it back and it's a new person.
Oh, I should have done that before the makeup, you idiot.
One pair of pants later.
And she's done. Can I just show off this dress real quick? We go, boom.
It's too much.
Hold on,
Naked! A little back didn't hurt nobody.
We're doing the garlic TikTok trend. I don't know why I'm starting the morning with garlic breath. Now, I know people are gonna argue in the comments saying pickled garlic doesn't give you garlic breath, and I'm here to tell you that it does. That it does, okay? I've been eating pickled garlic, not in this way, but I've been eating pickled garlic for a while now. So this is a jar of pickled garlic. This is by the TikTok user La La Le Lu, which I love her. I actually found her TikTok before her garlic thing. What was I saying? Oh yeah, okay, so she does this thing that went viral on TikTok where she takes out all the vinegar in this pickled garlic, she adds sriracha, thyme, and red pepper and just eats it. She says she can eat a whole jar of this in one sitting. Now, I saw a lot of people on TikTok that tried it and hated it, and most of them just used raw garlic, which makes sense why you would hate it. I mean, I love garlic. I don't think I could eat raw garlic like that. So we're gonna drain the vinegar out of all of this, and then we're gonna make it and see how it goes. So I'll be right back.
Let's do a juice, honey. Drink it.
I'm not gonna drink it.
Smart.
So I saw her start with the red pepper flakes. I'm doing this all in the same order so no one can come for me, okay? We're starting with the red pepper flakes. She adds about a spoonful of it. Just drops it in there. Ooh, look at this brand new bottle. It's still got a lid on it and everything. Now, she didn't give measurements.
She didn't give measurements.
She does a lot. And then at the very end, she'll sprinkle in some thyme. She just sprinkles it in there. Did you know pickled garlic is running out everywhere right now? I don't know if it has to do with her or the fact that people just don't sell pickled garlic, but I could barely find it. So then you add the thyme, right?
Make sure you're tight, like close it tight.
Oh yeah, okay. Do you see that? It's all gonna change. Shake it. It's a lot. Is it good now?
Yeah, let's try it.
Okay, I'm excited.
Whatever.
It looks kind of like pickled radish from the outside.
What is that?
Oh, good. Oh my god.
Is it worth the hype or is it just okay?
It's pretty salty. Oh my god, just you wait.
Oh my gosh.
I got a little pile of rice. Add in a bunch of garlic. Okay, add a piece of rice with a piece of garlic. Okay. So I'll say it's good.
Just tastes like pickled garlic, honey.
But it won't. My new dress. Uh-oh, the other demon's coming. No, Mango.
Don't get out of here with your sniffing.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine. Just watch it.
I'm like really upset. Now the monsters are here. There's like rice on the cabinet. Okay, you wanna try another one?
Yeah, give me a small garlic. The
Okay.
big one just tastes very sour.
There's a small one right there.
It's good.
It's good, but
it's
I
not
don't think it's
life-changing.
life-changing. Yeah. Like, I don't know if I'll make it again. I probably will. It's pretty good. I think, though, it's a good side dish. I don't know how she eats it like a snack. I don't think I could sit there and just eat it like that. But I think if I...
And tonight, just like...
I know. That's what I always say, but it takes a minute for food to grow on me, okay? So if you catch me in the next video eating it as a snack, I'm sorry! It's pretty good. But I do feel garlic breath. Even with pickled garlic, you feel it a little bit. It's not as bad, but it's still there. Honey.
What the fuck?
Honey, just
What are
make
you
out with
doing?
me. Just give me a kiss.
Get away from me!
I'm doing this not for me, but for the people. I'm doing the make-out test. You know, they say pickled garlic, it doesn't smell, so we make out and we decide to pass the kiss test. Okay, ready?
No.
Just one. It does not pass the kiss test. So like I said, don't go on a date after this one, but it's quite delicious. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's vlog. It was really all over the place. I don't know why I had this obsession with feet briefly, but I'm glad that I got it out of my system, you know? I'll be back tomorrow with maybe another foot story. Maybe not. Maybe it's a completely different story. Maybe there's 2 feet now. I don't know what I'm saying. This garlic is getting to my brain. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you tomorrow, bitch.